Welcome to another episode of Covered with the Utah FOP. I am your host, Brett Rawson. You know what? My mom liked the name Rhett Butler from
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind, and she wanted a name that kind of rolled off the tongue like that. So I ended up Brett Rawson.
Is that why you keep going around saying, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn?
Every day. That's the standard around the Rawson household. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. We got the usual suspects here. We were just contemplating what we ought to talk about, but summertime is here. It's in full force. It's getting sweaty out there.
Yeah, they can probably see it for those watching us on our YouTube channel. They can probably see the glistening of
The beads of sweat that are emanating from your brow.
I do not like summer.
No?
No.
Tell me why. Dude, because of the sweatiness? The swass?
Because it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot all the time, and there's very little you can do. See, at least in the wintertime, I can bundle up.
Mm-hmm.
But summertime, the only thing I can do for any relief causes problems, and cops get called. And
Little talcum powder in the shorts? Is that what you're about to say?
They say don't do that. More the shedding of like shirts and stuff, and people are like, put it back on. We shouldn't have to see that.
Oh, yeah. Well.
And I'm like, can't you just love me for me? I mean, like, where's the understanding?
You could get the badge tattooed on your breastises. You could.
They're moobs.
Oh.
Well, going back to summer, when we were out at the Vernal Cook, it was hot.
It was hot out there.
And I got my eyes sunburned. That's
What?
a thing.
Like the eyeballs?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you didn't wear glasses.
No, I did, but they were not the UV.
Oh.
So, I mean, these
Cheap
glasses I've had with me for a long time. They cost me $10. They were...
Did you get them out of a Cracker Jack box?
No,
Like,
I
what's-
was on my mission, and this guy got them from Korea. They're fake Ray-Bans, and they're really comfy. And I've had them for 20 years, and I really like them.
Mm-hmm. They look cool.
But they burned my my eyes, and so Melissa a few years ago bought me some real Ray-Bans, but I didn't want to bring them like camping and get them broken. So
Yeah, it was hot out there, but it was a good time.
it was a good time.
Cooking for the boys. Yeah. Well, it is, as they say, the 100 deadliest days of summer. I know the troopers talk about that because they're dealing with highway type stuff. And slow down out there. Don't drink and drive. Don't drive drowsy. All of that.
No road rage.
No road rage. Oh, that's right. That's been in the paper a lot.
Yeah.
No road rage. However,
Oh, boy.
if you are driving 3 miles an hour under the speed limit, you do not belong in the number 1 lane.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You don't belong in the number 2 lane.
No.
Get your butt over to the number 3 lane.
Find another
have your
road.
party.
Or surface street.
Yeah. Surface Street.
If you don't have a toll pass and you're not 2+, you don't belong in the HOV lane.
That's right. Yeah.
What if you've got a dog?
Well,
I'll allow it.
dogs are people too.
I'll allow it.
Especially if the dog's a certified peace officer.
Well, okay, now
That's an
here's the
interesting
thing.
point. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, did you know that the HOV lanes, if you are a police officer, you're exempt?
I did know that.
I did not until I took the 4th South off-ramp, and I was in my unmarked, and I got pulled over by a Salt Lake City officer who was sitting at the bottom of that
As they
HOV
do.
off-ramp. Great spot, because there's no getting away from it. And as he walked up and he saw my radio and everything, he's like, "Oh, you're good." I'm like, "Sorry." I mean, he goes, "No, it's a police car. You're exempt. You can travel in that lane." I'm like, "Really?"
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "You didn't know that?" I'm like, "It's a traffic law. I don't. If it's not a gang member, drugs, or fugitives, I lose interest."
It's like trying to get Brad to write a speeding ticket. Like, ain't gonna happen.
Like when they would call him out on, they'd call him out on the snow days, and he's out there. He's got to put on. I remember the one he had to find his uniform somewhere, and he had to get in that black truck and go take accidents.
With the beard?
He had to shave it.
They made him, huh? I didn't know he ever did a day on duty without that beard. So there were times he had to shave it, huh? Because he looks like Duck Dynasty most days.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of his career he did. Because he had a crazy job. Yeah. It's the dangerous part of summer on the freeways, but it's also an interesting time for just your regular old beat cops, as they say, because things warm up and people get crazy. They get a little nutty, right?
People come out.
Crime goes up. I mean, is it just a factor of weather? I mean, is it just because, like, I like to be outside in the summertime, and so do the criminals?
I always attributed it to school being out. Kids are around. They're out later, warmer, sun's out longer. But I think it just brings out the crazy.
There's something, and I don't know if there's any like scientific data or any research done on it, but there were a couple of things that always seem to be prevalent, and I don't know whether it's, you know, as soon as you're looking for a yellow Volkswagen, it seems like that's all you see.
Mm-hmm.
But when
because Bundy's in it, bro, be
full
careful.
moon, full moon just seemed to, like, I don't know if there's some weird lunar pole.
That's
or
a
if it's
thing,
just,
dude. I mean, you ask any ER nurse and any cop, the full moon thing is real. Full moon on a Friday the 13th. I can't explain it, but it happens.
That, and when somebody says, "Boy, it's sure quiet tonight."
Oh yeah,
I
bite
mean,
your tongue.
It's just,
just
it's like
that.
the kiss of death.
Yeah, slap
unless
that
it's one of those shifts where you're just like, where it's taking forever, and you're like, I'll take any call. I don't care what it is. Just something massive.
Right.
Something massive come in, and then it never did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until like 5 minutes before you're off, and day shift hadn't checked on yet, and you're just like, okay, I'm getting sound.
I remember it had to be my first week or two on duty ever, and it was in Bountiful. They have a parade up there. This was in July, so you know you could figure out it probably had to do with the
4th of July.
4th of July, probably so. But anyway, I was focused on how sweaty I was. I mean, it had to be the regular temperature was probably in the high 90s, but in that intersection, you know, with the sun glaring off of everything, the concrete, you were talking about burning your eyeballs and vernal. I mean, we had just all of that. It had to be easily 106 degrees in that intersection. You're just getting cooked, and you're directing traffic, and I'm thinking, man, I love this job. I'm so happy to be here. No, I mean, I was excited because I was new, but it was hot. And I think about, you know, anytime I go to the Southwest, you know, I grew up in the military, spent some time in Yuma, Arizona, and I remember those officers down there having to get out on emergencies. I mean, inside the patrol car, you know, you got your AC, but man, if you're ever outside of that car in a place like Yuma, 120 degrees, I mean, that's no bueno.
You know what's unique about those is, even, I mean, as hot as that is, and as hot as it gets here in the valley, and especially in like that end of July, middle end of July, was doing a high risk stop. You know, because there are some things where, I mean, it's just flat out torture, and so like having to have the wherewithal to look at it and go, and it didn't even register to me until one afternoon I was in the gang unit, and we're high risk stopping this fugitive gang member out in West Valley, and you know the standard thing, you know, bringing him out and laying him on the asphalt, and he's he goes, and he's been compliant, you know, no antics or anything like that. He goes, "You want to put me down on this?" I remember going, "Oh yeah." That would be pretty messed up,
probably.
And so we were able to modify it because, you know, he was cooperative.
Well, I mean, and Spencer over here from the pod mill is laughing at us now. Just dumb cops, you know. But it's a training, it's a muscle memory thing. They train you a certain way, you know. Get on the ground, you know. You prone them out, but you know when the ground is a griddle, you know,
lava,
and
you know,
you're gonna cook down there. Yeah, you got to improvise, right?
Yeah,
or else you'd have a use of force violation.
See, and that's the reason. One of the biggest reasons why I worked graveyards is right when I came out of FTO, I was in beginning of June, and in Ogden at the time we had the military pink polyester pants where you could fart in it at the beginning of your shift, take them off at the end of your shift, and then you'd smell your fart. Like, they did not breathe, and so stepping out on the hot asphalt and those things, it was terrible. And so I quickly learned that graveyards were my friend.
Absolutely.
And that was the best place to be.
Yeah. I quickly moved to swings. I don't even know how to get around Bountiful in the daytime anymore. So
I spent, other than one mandatory rotation on afternoons, because I didn't have the seniority to get on. I mean, you couldn't get on day shift until you had like 10 or 12 years on, it seemed, and I didn't have seniority to get on Graves, and so I had that one shift on afternoons, and it was right at the end of 2000, and luckily in the first part of December we had shifted to or no, I guess it was after December that I ended up getting on Graves. And then anytime I was in patrol, anytime I came out of task force and had to go to patrol, it was Graves. In fact, the closest that I got was when we were working a shift that we had come up with that our chief let us try that we really liked, was because we were split. You know, we had those that wanted to work 410s, and then those of us that only wanted to work 3 days, and so we were like, hey, 312s. Yeah. And so we came up with a shift where if you wanted to work 410s, you worked Tuesday through Friday.
Right.
And then it was the 3 different shifts. But if you wanted to work 12s, then it was Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., you know, and vice versa. Well, we did 13s, so that we would make up that time, and then we had a little overlap. But when we would come on at 6 p.m., like that was the closest that I ever got to a day shift in patrol.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like there was more fun happened at night, happened on Graves.
Well, and it's and you know, as you mentioned, you don't love summer, so it wasn't as hot at night. You know.
I hate summer.
Was that deal that happened, and you mentioned 2000, that deal that happened at the temple in 2000, was that a summertime?
October.
That was October.
That was October.
Oh. Have you ever told the listeners about that? That was crazy.
No.
You feel like it?
Maybe another time.
Another time. All right. Well, we'll cut that. Yeah. All right. Well, what else is going on? What's happening in the Salt Lake City?
Oh. Well, we're coming up on July 1, start of a new contract season for the city. We are currently not the ones negotiating for that bargaining unit. There's been a lot of things slashed from that contract, and where people from the other our competitors thought that it was a good thing
to slash
terms? Our contract and take away benefits.
What?
I don't know why, but yeah. So
that's weird.
We sold some benefits down the road for some smaller wages for people, and
wow,
as we learn at the labor summit every year, that when you negotiate a benefit, that's a lifelong thing, and there's always time to get money.
Yeah.
So never cut your benefits, because you'll never get them back, and that's where we're at. So
wow.
But the good news is, or the silver lining is, in August there's going to be a vote for the FOP to take over the MOU and become the bargaining agency for Salt Lake City.
Hopefully right that ship a little bit.
Yeah. We're hoping so.
Yeah.
So we'll see how the vote goes in August, and
well, that's exciting.
We'll go from there.
You know, and there's just been a tremendous amount of support by your administration. I don't want to say unprecedented, because we've enjoyed a decent relationship at times over the years, but just night and day different than it was a decade ago.
Yeah.
And even 4 years ago.
Even 4 years ago. And, I attribute that to just, jointly I think the new perspective that the administrators there have on our organization and the work that you've done and others that you work with there. I feel very much at home when I go to Salt Lake, which is not an experience that I had in we'll call it the Burbank days. Yeah, if you're listening, years. Chris, hello. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's super, super interesting, and I know we've talked about it before, but I want to remind people that there's a great big national FOP conference coming here, and that's going to happen in Salt Lake City, and it has a lot to do with you and your mayor and your chief stepping up. I think the governor also did a little thing as we. It's a competitive. It's a competition.
Yeah.
To get people to come to your city because of the economic development that's involved in hosting that sort of an event where thousands upon thousands of people are coming from all over the country to participate in their First Amendment protected right to assembly. National FOP Conference 2027. Yeah. So we won that. That was hard fought against our brothers and sisters in Chicago, but turned out a lot more people wanted to come here than Chicago. Go figure.
A lot.
Yeah, but I was pleased. There were videos played by in support of that effort. The governor made a video, the mayor made a video, but your chief showed up.
Yeah, he did. He flew in.
Yeah, and that was just tremendous to me to see that he was
and it was
willing.
There was actually talk from some of the other states about one of the deciding factors, especially in how policing's gone since in the last 4 or 5 years, that having a supportive administration, a supportive police chief of it, who was willing to come down in that environment and speak.
Yeah.
How that was kind of that catalyst, because Chicago's superintendent didn't get on there and say, hey, welcome. The mayor didn't get on and say, hey, we would love to have the FOP.
Yeah. And when the buzz around the convention is, hey, if we go to Chicago, are they going to let us bring our guns? When that's sort of the whisper.
Like our long rifles.
Who wants to subject their families to that,
Right. Yeah.
I love Chicago, but it's a little more dangerous than our city.
And here's the thing is that the burden that we've got, and not just in Salt Lake, but in the surrounding valleys, is to make sure that it stays the place that we bid.
Yeah.
Right.
And it gets to be a challenge, because there's very little control that the officers have on the environment, that politicians play the role on the standard that's going to be set, whether it's laws, ordinances, judges, prosecutors, on making sure that things are done to keep that environment. Because the thing I love about living in this state is that we don't just have to clean something up for a 2-week period, to make it look good. Things are naturally that way, and it's because of the line officers on the street that are doing everything that they can to make sure that it's there, and it resonates. Last time in 2011, the comments were on how clean Salt Lake was. Mm-hmm. And it was. We travel a lot to other major capital cities, and Salt Lake is pretty clean.
Yeah.
Comparatively speaking. I was fascinated in 2011 that Pioneer Park was completely cleaned out, de-needled, and everything like that. That was really good and impressive. But especially as we're in these hot months where, in fact, I think I dare say that if we talked a little bit about practical jokes and some of the fun things about the job, and look, even though I'm retired, I've got great memories of it, but realizing that it's okay to have that mindset, to have a positive mindset about policing. I don't even care. I have a positive mindset about your agency.
Yeah.
I don't know where we. It's real easy in this profession, of the cops out there. How easy it is to make something negative, and it's part of that cynicism. But
we got it in a real downward trend after 2020.
Yeah.
So and myself included in that I think at least I'm starting to climb out of and realizing, hey, this is a pretty good profession. It's good for the family if you let it be. And the more you talk bad about your agency, the less help you're going to get having people come work there. So
And you're it's kind of that self-fulfilling thing. If we're always looking at the bad, then everything's going to always be bad. Yeah. Now, I don't know of an agency that does everything right.
No, absolutely
I don't know
not.
of an agency that makes the right call on everything. I don't know of an agency, and that's fine. And there are systematic problems in agencies that we deal with from time to time. But I think the changing of how we present on that. I mean, I think you can be realistic about your agency and still be positive about it. Because every agency out there, I don't know of an agency that doesn't do something right or that doesn't do something well. I don't care how big or how small. There are pros and cons to every agency, and we've got to be willing to look at both sides of that, so that we're not an apologist for our agencies and pretending like there's nothing that's ever done wrong.
Well, you got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
And when I think our job as the FOP is to advocate for change that benefits our members, and as long as you're doing that, it's easy to get stuck in, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But our agencies collectively do a lot of things right.
Yep.
And being out at a lot of these different agencies that we get to see as members of this board, you do get to see, hey, you know what, you guys did a good job on that, or hey, appreciate how smoothly your OICI process really is, and that you take care of the members and or the officer, and when those times come, I think it's equally as important to give that credit to the chief or the administration or whoever you have ear with, to be like, hey, this went smooth. We really appreciate you guys doing that.
I got a phone call yesterday from another state FOP, from their general counsel actually, asking about Ian, because Ian's called on as an expert witness on a case involving some of their officers in that state, and he brought something up about he's listed as a witness for the prosecution. Why would he do that? And I remember having that conversation with Ian relative to another expert, and he said something pretty interesting to me about it that I think applies in what we do in the advocating and things like that. He goes, if you are a one-sided expert witness, that actually hurts you down the line. He goes, it can actually affect your credibility as a witness if you can't objectively look at things and go. And he goes, and there's a difference between making an observation on conduct and on personal or personality things, and making sure that because there have been experts that have come in and said, that officer was messed up, or that officer did this. It was okay. This was done, and here's the science behind it or whatnot. He goes, and so in order to be a credible witness for the defense, you also have to be a credible witness for prosecution at times.
Absolutely.
And so it's that same thing. If you're advocating for your lodge or for your agency or whatever, you've also got to be, and the same goes for administrators, and I've actually heard audio of an administrator kind of second guessing the department's stuff on, and saying, okay, look, I don't know why the chief wants this, but he does. And so it's my job to make sure that's carried out, and I'll try and figure out to the best that I can. And how much better that was received than, hey, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Because we've all sat in those meetings. In fact, one of the best briefings that I ever sat in was one where we had a lieutenant who was trying to make it seem like, this we had a guy that was getting disciplined for a practice that had been done at the agency since I hired on, and new chief comes in prior to the current chief. New chief comes in and wants to make an example out of this guy, and so they're going to discipline him for this thing that everybody else has done. And this lieutenant's sitting in there just talking about how wrong and, and just how we've really got to wrangle this. And Travis, being the sergeant that he was, looks at him and says, LT, I've seen you do that. and his reply was, well, that was before I knew it was wrong. And I was like, wait,
That
what?
was before today.
That was before today. And the way that could have been handled of saying, okay, look, I know that this has been how we've done things, but starting today, that changes. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's your right as the chief to be able to come in and set what you want for that vision going forward. But you lose credibility when you are completely one-sided, and it is so easy to get one-sided. Especially if you've been disciplined by your agency or by your supervisor or whatever that is. It's really easy for us to go, all negative, all in, and may or may not have some experience with that. Especially when you're in an FOP role, in a leadership role, and learning those hard lessons about, something's affecting you. I'll take that on for you. And you go marching into the chief's office and you're like, hey, we've got this. And he's like, well, who's this a problem for? It's for. And you turn around and you're standing there by yourself and you're like, oh. And the reasonable thing that I should have learned, but I got into it pretty young. I should have said, well, the person making the complaint is backing away. And so if it's not an issue for him, it's no longer an issue for me.
Yep.
But I didn't do that. I said, oh, okay, well, I picked up the flag and ran with it, and it ended up, being detrimental for me. The issue didn't get changed, and I kind of submarine myself in a lot of things. But
oddly enough, I've had similar experiences, and when you're going forward, you hear that voice of reason in your head saying, "Why are we doing this?" And you just push it away, and you just go full in, and you send it, and that's.
Yeah, and then afterwards you're going, huh? Well, that didn't go as planned. And then you're making a phone call to Brett saying, hey, so I've got a meeting with the IA lieutenant. Can you come sit with me?
Funny
by
story.
the way, it's over at the city council chambers. Apparently the city attorney's going to be there. Remember that one?
I do.
Yeah, that one was.
Yeah.
That was fun. We came out of it just fine. We got excused. The city attorney kept the IA sergeant and the IA lieutenant back for a little bit of a reprimand on their antics. Don't worry though, he's now a city manager in Colorado.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You guys over there enjoy that.
Colorado.
Yeah,
Really? I didn't know that. Moved from Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we miss you, brother. Okay.
Was that?
That's called humor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure,
Well, we got the
you had
video
that,
cameras, so we get the facial expression now.
Yeah, that serious.
Yeah, we are on the
Serious
YouTube, man,
tone.
aren't we? We're like,
the YouTube.
is that what it is?
The
Googler?
The Googler.
Okay.
I'd say we're up and coming too.
We're on the interwebs. Yeah. Pardon, I beg your pardon. Okay.
What is our YouTube address again? It is
www. I don't know.
hang on, we'll insert.
Ian
this
used to
in.
make fun of me because I would always put the http://
https
whatever, man.
Colon
secure
//.
Okay.
Utah FOP, I
Need
believe.
a 15-year-old to tell me how to work the interwebs.
Utah State FOP. Okay. So the YouTube address is Utah State FOP, where you can check all those out.
Okay.
You can see the look on our face.
Yeah.
You can
The fact that we
hearing these sultry voices over your device or over your car or whatever. It's probably amazing enough. But when you see the faces made for radio,
or the fact that we're able to, without much effort, coordinate our outfits to
That's
be
what I was gonna
exactly
say.
the same 2 weeks apart.
And I don't think
What in the world?
I think you said without effort, but I mean there's a lot of effort that goes into this that all of us coordinated wearing hats.
Well, we at least got that, but I mean
we've
we're
got
gonna wear
pants on.
the exact same
shorts.
clothes 2 weeks in a row. because
It's almost like it's
Laundry
Friday the
schedule,
13th
that's
and
what it
somebody and there's a full moon.
it's weird. I don't
That
know.
is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's almost-
next recording.
It's a premonition about
Next
things to
recording,
come.
we're going to intentionally wear something different, and we're going to see if we somehow match.
Yeah,
Happy June.
I'm so confused because the recording that happens second, or that is published second, was recorded first, which is
Yeah, but this is really kind of
but they
falling
don't
into
know
a pretty
that.
good lead-in.
yeah, they don't know that.
Yeah,
do
so,
they?
so what you're about to listen to next time is, oddly enough, was recorded before this one, but this one's going to segue into that pretty good.
It's like
Tell me that's not amazing.
It's like a time machine.
Tell me that's
Really.
not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer does wonderful work.
He does. Yeah,
Wonderful work.
keeps us
This,
out of trouble.
this couldn't have been done without the efforts of the Pod Mill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Travis taking care of the YouTube part.
right.
We're
Travis has
Utah
been
FOP
making
launch.
videos of me for years. I mean, he's
Yeah, but these ones can be published.
that's true.
These aren't through the Jib Jab app.
Jib jab.
Mm-hmm.
Or Facebook Live. So it's really good. It's really good and professional-ish. And
The
and
media
we're
is
good.
maybe not the content, but the presentation is
And the sound.
professional. Yeah,
Sound is incredible.
second to
Sounds
none.
incredible.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I
we
don't
kind
know.
of hit a speed bump on that one, didn't we?
yeah. Well, I think that was plenty, man. We've covered a lot. We do. I'm going to be talking in the next episode more about the personal injury law stuff that the firm does.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's we got a magic phone number now. It's the 801 Help Now.
Not get help now?
No, it's just Help Now.
Just Help
80
Now.
Don't confuse them. It's 801 Help Now for all of your personal injury needs. Officers and other people get in accidents. They get injured in accidents. Sometimes they even get injured on the job, and some of them don't know that even though workers' comp is the exclusive remedy against the employer, they can litigate against that turkey that hit them in traffic. Did you know that? Yeah.
Yes.
Third-party claim. So we do personal injury, always have. We haven't advertised it.
If
we
you
are
call
now.
get help now, you're going to
Don't
get
do that. Yeah.
Quebec.
Don't. Yeah. You don't need
So
to. You don't
do
need
that.
to.
They're not going to understand you.
Yeah. They're
Yeah,
Frenchies
so,
over
so
there.
just
aren't
go
they?
with 801.
Help Now. 801 Help Now.
801 help now.
Yeah, that's for personal injury through your law firm, Nelson Jones. The same guys that bring you FOP coverage. Let's get out of here. We've wasted enough time today.
It's hot.
We've already given Spencer way more editing tasks than I think we ever have in all 80-plus episodes combined.
Swaths. Editing swaths.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
It's a term
All right.
used in the industry.
Really?
Should be.
It really should be.
It should be starting now.
Okay, well, that's a wrap. I have had enough of this. Thanks for tuning in. We care about you. Be good and safe out there, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks.